Peace and blessings, family. It's your girl, Sony, back again with another one. Haven't did that in a while. I don't even feel like doing it anymore. I'm evolving. Now, you know, I'm a Gemini. I go off the rip. It depends on how I feel. But I just wanted to come on because I'm amazed that I still have an apartment today. Baby, the way that I lost my mind last night through that BET Awards, now I wasn't even gonna watch it because my cousin called and was like the awards, and I'm like, look, I don't watch that stuff. Half of the time when I watch, I don't even know most of those people. Something told me to watch it because I'm watching Game of Thrones. I said, you know what, let me just check the awards out. When I turned, my wife was on Janet Jackson. Now, she didn't tell me she was going to be on there last night, and I was surprised to see her. Yeah, we've been married, you know, for a couple of decades. I try to keep it on the low. But I must say, it was an amazing show. Some parts I could have did with, some parts I couldn't do without. You know, I'm old at this point. I'm auntie. It's like, whatever. But baby, BET did they big one. If they don't never do nothing else again. That musical celebration, well, they did a good one for D'Angelo. I like that, especially seeing George Clinton come out. I said, oh, they got Unc out here? Okay. Okay, Funk Master. But baby, that Lauryn Hill musical celebration, it was everything. It was everything. It was everything. They came out and represented the sister as they should have. Because baby, that one CD, all she needed was one. All she needed was one. And decades later, we still breaking it down. That was a monumental work right there. Ah, God bless her soul. And to see her children come out, to see the community give her that love, to see her perform, and I mean, it was everything. Then Nas came, I mean, they took me back. I felt like I was in my 20s last night. I'm 55. They took me back. I felt like I was back in New York when these was just hitting. And it was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful time. So, thank you. I guess I will start checking out the award show here and there. Because, you know, I'm different now, you know. But I love music. I love music. I tell everybody, if I could go back in time and do, I don't never say I have regrets. I don't. I got 3 regrets. I should have finished high school. I'm not gonna lie. I should have finished high school instead of getting a GED 7 years after dropping out of high school. I should have graduated and went to Spelman College because I tell everybody. I would have been a super duper senior. They would have had to throw me out. I got so many degrees. Why? Because education and chicks. I would have never left campus. I would have never left campus, but I digress. Baby, when you know, you know. I would have tore that campus upside down. In my youth, that is. And I would have been a music producer. Because I love music. I know a hit. When Mary first came out, it's so funny. When me and one of my friends, we was really close at the time. He was a singer, went all around the world singing, background, We would have these philosophical debates about Mary. I knew when I first heard her that the girl was going to be a star. She was a star already. And he was, oh no, she's yeah, I wonder how you feel now, mister. How you feel now? But I love music. I love music. I just love music. From my parents' generation to mine to now, you know, those are the only things. Other than that, I wouldn't go back for anything. I would not go back. The lessons I had to learn was horrific. And I don't want you to feel sorry for me because I'm a strong old girl. Stop playing. I'm still here. But I wouldn't wish them on my worst enemy. People look at you and they want the end results. As my cousin said, razzle dazzle. They want the razzle dazzle. They don't want the hurt and the pain, the betrayal, the heartbreak that it took to get to this person that made you as strong as you are, made you as wise as you are. That's why I never looked at people and wanted anything. Now, people think that that's weird, being that I came here, you know, a little different than others with a physical disability, thanks to medical malpractice at birth. I was a breech birth. But I have never looked at anyone and wanted their life, wanted their body, wanted limbs the same length. dealt with what I had, and I was grateful because I saw other people and knew that it could get much worse. And I was grateful that God allowed me to walk this journey in the body in the way that He allowed me to. Even growing up in the inner city, I never looked at people and said, oh, I want a 6-bedroom house. No. I was happy with what I had because I had so much more than anyone else. It was my faith. It was my faith. My faith, my ancestors, and the angels that would come visit me at night. Yeah, I know, it sounds weird. As a kid, I understood that there was something greater out here. And I tell people, even when I was in hell, I was still blessed. Even when I was in some areas and situations where I should not have survived. Babe, I'm telling you, in New York, what is this, like the 90s, early 2000s? 90s. I'm on the A train, East New York, Brooklyn, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning coming home, fired up, smoking a cigarette in the train, walking through the train, all jewelry on, because anybody know me know I always had jewelry. Nothing ever happened to me. And I remember walking through cars where it'd be a group of other teenagers, just as deviant as me. They might ask for a cigarette, I might ask them for a cigarette, like, you know, and never ran into no situations. Coming home one night on Delancey Street, this guy rolled up on me. He had a little gun. It was little, it was cute. And he gonna say, run your stuff. I looked at see, I laughed. I laughed. With a gun pointed at me. It had to be a good, because it was still night, dark. It had to be 2, 3 in the morning. 2, 3. Sun wasn't even up yet. I was talking trash in my New York accent at the time, because I'd moved around a couple of times, smoking a Newport 100. When I finished what I wanted to smoke, I flicked my I cursed him out. And while I'm cursing him out, I flicked my cigarette at this man with a gun. At 55, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Came home and told my mother. She looked at me like I was crazy, like, Sonia, why didn't you not just give him what he... I'm like, man, I work hard with it. I'm not going to just give nobody my... And I couldn't comprehend it at the time. Like, I'm not going to give somebody my stuff with a little gun. Like, that's how I was raised. That's the mentality that I had back then. The other time I'm coming home, straight from East New York, coming off Delancey Street, off the F train, smoking a cigarette, because that's what I did. I'm fired up again. And anytime I went to Brooklyn, I was coming back, loaded. It was a wrap. I'm walking through the park, because going through the park is quicker than, coming around. It's quick. And there's 2 addicts in there. Some older black gentlemen. They talking. They like, yo, sis, you got a cigarette? Could you spare a cigarette? I'm like, nah. I only got the one I'm smoking on, but I could bust you down. I'm walking up with the 2 men. Full jewelry. That's me. Not Mr. T jewelry, but comfortable jewelry. Where you going to see the girl shining, because I was straight. That's me. That's how I am. And we kicking it. They talking about their stuff. They flying. We flying 2 different ways. Because they was on that girl. What was it, girl or boy? Dope? Dog food? Yeah, I get it. And we having a good conversation. Walking through the park. Now, mind you, when you're walking through the park, you go from the street lights to the dark park, because everybody always take the lights out because you're doing something scrupulous. Nothing happened. We're talking. I bust them down, kept it moving. At this point, my mother was probably really worried about me and saying a little extra prayer at night. But for me, I've always been protected. Now, they say God protects babies and fools. And I don't know where they came up with that, black people, because it's not in the Bible. But I guess that's something we just made up over time. But when you walk with the Lord and you walk in the light and you never do anything unscrupulous to anyone around you, God will always protect you. When I knew he was my first love, my greatest love, my only love, I would talk to him even when I was in the streets doing unscrupulous things until I learned better. Because I was raised in a certain environment. And eventually parts of you will become like that environment. But God always protected me even when I couldn't protect myself. Now, I always carried a couple of knives on me, unbeknownst to, you know. And when I was like 15, one of my homeboys taught me how to keep razors in the side of my mouth and spit it up real quick. So, but I didn't really care about that too much. I wasn't a violent person, but I told you, I've only had a few fights in my life, and they were all started by someone else, but I finished them. I told you, I'm a great closer. It's like, encore, do you want more? I'm not gonna lie. I'm one of those people who went through so much that I avoid conflict at all costs. But when I can't avoid it, I'm gonna bring the pain, I'm gonna bring the ruckus. I'm like a freaking beast, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm still like that to this day. I tell people, I'm like, yo, I pray to God nobody really, because baby, the unleashing that I'm going to put on them will be similar to when the last child of Israel crossed the Red Sea and God just said, that's how it's going to be. And I feel it in my body. I feel it. You know, you can take the girl out of New York, baby, but you ain't never going to take out the girl. Stop playing. Why do we keep going through? I don't know how I even got to this subject. Sometimes I think I share a little bit too much with the brothers and the sisters. But, to make a long story short, yeah, I've always been about that life. I've been about that life. Not because I wanted to, because, you know, that's just the way the cookie crumbled. But I'm so grateful not to be in that environment anymore. I'm so grateful that my child will never have to experience half of those things. And that's why it's so hard. It was so hard in the beginning to walk the other way when somebody wanted to play in my face. Because people think just because you love and light, I had to go through darkness, pain, hell, and everything else to get to the love and the light. I'm still Brooklyn Sony. I just let God do what God has to do. That's not my forte anymore. That's just not what I'm built for. God had to show me, hey, vengeance is mine. Leave it alone, little girl. I got this. So at the end of the day, family, give it to... Why do I keep making these damn videos so long? I can't help it. I need a pulpit. Maybe I should look into... I don't want a church. But I do need to speak to the brothers and the sisters. Maybe I should just start going live. Because if I go live more often, I could just talk and talk and talk. Maybe that's what we're going to do. Maybe that's the next thing we're going to do. I'm going to come up with a live, and I might be on there for a couple of hours just running my mouth. But at the end of the day, family, if you don't take anything from these videos from this girl from BK, know that there is a God. I don't care what the world wants to tell you. He's alive and well. He's kicking, and he loves you. It doesn't matter who you look like, what you are, what you did, what you're doing. Nothing can ever separate you from the love of God. I don't care what a minister want to tell you, what a prophet want to tell you, what a rabbi want to... I don't care what anybody tells you. Cultivate that relationship between you and your higher self, baby. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. If I never walk into a church, a mosque, a temple, I'm walking with J-O-D. J-G-O. Shoot, y'all get it. J-O-D. I'm going to have to meditate on that. Because nothing just happens just to happen. I can spell. I can spell. Let me write that. Yeah, you know, that's where we at right now. I dissect everything. But give it to God. Know that everything happens for a reason. And don't ever give up, baby. Don't ever give up. The God that created you is magnificent, and you are the love of their life. I say there because it's more than one. You are the love of their life. You were created just the way you were supposed to. but cultivate that relationship. I gotta go. It's been 15 minutes. Peace and blessings, love and light. Ashe.